Wow, where's the time go? So Dan, for the record, Donna bet me $5 that I could not break the 45-minute record held by my old boss. And I'll pay her the $5 later, so don't worry about it. But it's amazing to be here, and I thank everyone for this. It's a career goes by in a blink. Really fortunate to be part of this organization. But first off, I'd like to congratulate my fellow honorees. You are all extremely deserving of the recognition you received this evening. A special thank you goes out to the New Jersey NAIOP leadership team and the staff for the absolutely amazing job you do throughout the year. From education to political advocacy, all culminating in tonight's extravaganza. You truly are the voice of the New Jersey real estate industry. I'm honored and humbled to be receiving the Charles Klatskin Lifetime Achievement Award this evening. Throughout my career, I have had the pleasure of meeting and working with many of the true icons of the New Jersey real estate industry. From Mike Heller to Charlie Klatskin, to Frank Greek, to Gus Milano, and the Visalia family. I have watched and observed how they grew their impressive businesses. Whether they knew it or not, they were mentors to me, and I am extremely grateful. Sorry about that. I have many thanks to give this evening. The first goes to God, who gave me the vision and ability to accomplish all the things I have done in my career and personal life. Next, I'd like to thank the woman I'm looking at now, the love of my life and my best friend, Judy, who had me the minute I looked in her green eyes and saw that dazzling smile. When we met 50 years ago this year while in high school, I never thought I could be able to convince her that if she stuck with this dreamer, she would be in for the ride of her life. Well, Jude, it's been one hell of a ride, and it ain't over yet. Perhaps our greatest accomplishments are our four sons, Brandon, Corey, Ryan, and Connor. I stand before them today so proud of the men of great character, integrity, and honesty that you have become. I love you all very much. I've also been blessed to have three amazing daughter-in-laws who actually are more like my daughters than daughters-in-law. Mom and I are so lucky and proud that God has placed you in our sons and our families' lives. However, without a doubt, as you may have seen on the screen, our greatest joys are the blessings of four grandchildren, Annie, Joey, Jackson, and Maddie. And if you have the opportunity to meet Jordan this evening, you'll know that baby M number 5 will be joining us this July. I'd also like to thank all the partners I've had throughout the years, beginning with those at Heller, Crown Point, and my partners at Bridge. Special recognition to John Porsek, who we've been partners for almost 30 years. I always get a kick. I walk into John's office, say, hey, John, I got an idea. And he looks at me, smiles, doesn't have an expression on his face, just shakes his head. But inevitably, he gets on board, and we accomplish some amazing things. So thank you, John. But everything we've collectively accomplished is a result of the amazing teams that together we built within the companies and working with all the professionals that we do to help get it done. They're the ones that really deserve the recognition. My job was easy. All I had to do was help find the right people, create the right chemistry and vision, and let them run. And run they have. So how did it all begin? You're looking at a first-generation college student who wasn't sure what to do with his life until a high school guidance counselor mentioned to his parents that he should probably be an engineer because of his abilities in math and science. I remember my parents looking at me and asking my thoughts, and me responding with true conviction and certainty. I don't know, I guess so. And so my journey began. The first step in that journey was working for Carrier Corporation, designing, selling complex HVAC systems. So the next time you're stuck at Newark Airport waiting for an airplane and you feel very comfortable, you're welcome. I recognized early on that being an engineer was not what I wanted to do. However, working at Carrier gave me many opportunities to meet and work with major real estate developers. The business fascinated me, although I wasn't sure what it was all about. But one thing I knew for sure, they were all driving really nice cars. I needed to get into the industry. One day I saw an ad in the Star Ledger placed by a company who was looking to hire someone with an engineering background and a sales and marketing experience who wanted to learn the real estate business. So I applied. The process took a grueling 6 to 9 months, and at the end, I turned the job down 3 times. The owner was extremely tenacious and persistent and pursued me. That man, if you didn't realize it, was Ike Heller. And the year was 1987. So I began my real estate career drinking from a fire hose, working for a true entrepreneur. Ike was brilliant. He had an unbelievable amount of drive and really did believe the day ended at midnight. I made partner in 1989 and the future looked bright. The 1990 happened. In my opinion, perhaps the greatest recession I have had or will ever experience. The financial meltdown caused banks to collapse. Properties were being given back to lenders at an alarming rate. Personal lines of credit were being frozen. Not to mention, it was the first time anyone ever came up to me and said, "Hey, we need to have a capital call." What was a capital call? And what kind of business did I get myself into? The next 5 years were difficult. We didn't know if the company would survive or what it might look like if it did. However, survive we did, and in 1995, Heller Industrial Parks was created, and although I was not a family member, I was named president, ultimately managing partner. In 1995-96, we built the first 1 million square foot spec industrial building in the state of New Jersey. We delivered it at the right time, leasing it completely by the time it was done. Before I knew it, the years went by and we had grown the company from about 7 million square feet when I joined to about 13.5 million square feet in 6 states by 2010. That year, we were approached by Mayor Ray McDonough of the city of Harrison to get involved as part of the redevelopment around the PATH station. I was excited. Here was an opportunity to learn about a new asset class and help diversify the company's holdings. However, once the project was fully approved and demolition began, it became apparent to me that Ike no longer shared my vision. So we parted ways in 2013. That was the year I started the Crown Point Group, focusing on multifamily and self-storage projects. Ironically, Ray McDonough found out I was leaving Heller. He called me in for a meeting at his office. At the meeting, he acknowledged I hadn't yet developed any multifamily projects, but he got up from behind his desk and said, "I have a project for you on Bergen Street. If you look me in the eye, shake my hand, and promise you'll do everything in your power to get it done, I'll appoint you as redeveloper." I was excited, my first project. Okay, so I never designed or built multifamily before. Or, for that matter, personally raised debt or equity. What could possibly go wrong? Fortunately, I had the opportunity to meet John Hanson and the Hampshire companies who became our partners on that project. It was extremely successful, getting in and out of the project in 2 years and achieving very strong financial performance. Today, Crown Point is still going strong, has developed over $500 million worth of projects. Through my good friend Gene Preston, I had the opportunity to meet a fellow NAIOP corporate board member named Tony Prico. We met at the NAIOP CRE meeting in 2013 in San Diego. Tony explained he was with the company by the name of Bridge. Bridge? And both he and the CEO, Steve Polis, were looking to expand into New Jersey. As is typical for anyone from New Jersey, my answer was simply, take a number, get to the back of the line. Notwithstanding my snarky comment, we continued our conversations. They explained to me they wanted to focus on infill locations close to New York City. We discussed how those projects would typically require demolition of existing buildings, complex geotechnical measures for ground improvements, and in all likelihood were extremely contaminated. I asked Tony if they had the capital lined up to take on such challenging projects, which he assured me they did. Then he asked a simple question: do you have any properties like that in New Jersey? I simply chuckled and said, let's go. In October 2014, I opened the Bridge Northeast office in Parsippany, New Jersey. We bought our first property in Union in early 2015, and the rest, as they say, is history. Through the efforts of my incredible team, from early 2015 through the end of last year, we developed a staggering number of projects in northern New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and Brooklyn. During that period, Bridge New Jersey constructed over 22 million square feet of industrial buildings with a valuation in excess of $5.5 billion. I'm extremely proud of that success, but by no means am I taking credit for these accomplishments. It is all through the efforts of an amazing group of people that helped get it done. When I started in real estate in '87, I recognized there was more to the industry than what I was living day to day. So I immediately plugged into New Jersey NAIOP. NAIOP offered not only outstanding educational programs, but also very strong legislative and political advocacy programs. I committed myself 100% to the organization. As many of you know, in 2022, I had the honor of being elected the corporate chair of NAIOP. I was able to travel to over 19 chapters across the country that year, listening and learning about all the issues facing our industry and what we together could do to overcome them. Today, this amazing group of people, both staff and volunteers, locally and nationally, are consistently carrying the torch, watching out for each and every one of us. I, for one, am extremely thankful that as we head into these uncertain economic and political times, NAIOP is side by side with us every step of the way. Someone once remarked that I've had a rather unusual career path and have dealt with many different types and rather unusual people, yet somehow figured out how to create relationships with each and every one. Jeff, you should write a book. I guess I just did. If I were to describe my career, it'd be simply that I was a person with a drive to succeed, who refused to slow down or ever give up. I'm not quite sure that my career path could be replicated today, as the industry has become very institutionalized. There is one thing about our business that will never change, though. We are in the people business. We must remind ourselves daily that if it were not for personal relationships we create in our businesses and with those professionals with whom we work, and that our agreement and our handshake are our bond, the chances for success are slim. People often ask me if I will ever stop or slow down. It should come as no surprise that after all these years of running hard, it is important to me and my family that I reevaluate and make some changes. I'm happy to share that I'm working towards what the next chapter in my life will look like, both professionally and personally. I'm not leaving the real estate industry by any means, but plan to spend more time with my family. I'll be working on a transition from Bridge over the next year or so, which will allow for carefully planned continuity and stability for the Bridge team as we continue to execute our business plan in New Jersey. My journey is far from over, or perhaps it's a new beginning. Thank you all very much. Tonight has been perhaps one of the most humbling experiences of my life.